Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel, Brothers in Fandom. If you like anime content, leave a like and subscribe. Today we'll be going over forgettable Naruto characters that are actually pretty tough. Starting off the list will be Aoba, a special jonin from the Hidden Leaf Village. Aoba can use a special technique to send chakra through an object to paralyze his enemies. During the Sand Invasion arc, he also showed he can use some pretty legit fire style techniques, like Fire Dragon Bullet against invading shinobi from the Sand and Sound Village. Aoba is also good gathering information. He can even read someone's mind without touching them, as long as their thoughts or feelings are strong enough. We see Aoba use this technique against Kisame to try to find out more behind the Akatsuki. Aoba's favorite technique is Scattering Thousand Crow technique. This involves making a bunch of crows appear, which he can control with hand signs. These crows can block the enemy's view and are used for scouting and attacks. They can also be used to disguise movements, as seen when he used them to cover Raido in actions against his fight against Kakuzu and Hidan. Aoba is also legit in Genjutsu, able to break the Genjutsu Kabuto cast on everyone in the arena in the Sand Invasion arc. Despite having a large focus on gathering info and using his crows, Aoba is legit at Taijutsu. I remember watching the fight he had against Kakuzu and thinking, who is this guy throwing hands? If he wasn't there in that fight would have gone a lot quicker for Hidan and Kakuzu. Aoba gets overshadowed by how many jonin are in the Leaf Village, and in every arc he was in, he showed a legit amount of skills and was very helpful in the situations he was present in. If the Leaf Village wasn't a powerhouse, Aoba would be a legit jonin in any other village, and honestly is a great contender to be on this list. Next on the list is Kitsuchi, a jonin from the Hidden Stone Village and the father of the 4th Tsuchikage. Kitsuchi was the 2nd Division commander of the Allied Shinobi Forces and the Short Range Division. He's got some legit feats and abilities. To put into perspective, Kakashi was the commander of the 3rd unit, so they have Kitsuchi on the same level of command as someone as respected as Kakashi. In the war arc, he was strong enough to punch away Kinkaku away even when he was in his 6-tailed form, which is pretty ridiculous for a character we just got introduced to. Kitsuchi was also shown saving Darui twice. Saving someone as capable as Darui shows he deserves the title of 2nd Division commander in the Allied Shinobi army. Kitsuchi is a master of earth style. He can shape the ground and land on a massive scale. For example, he used a technique with his daughter to uncover a whole group of the White Zetsu army hidden underground. He can also raise or lower the ground at will, which he used to trap the Ten Tails in a huge trench when it was revived. He was also seen using mountain style jutsu to create massive walls and for other uses in battle. Kitsuchi demonstrates he is one of the most competent earth style users in the entire show. In the show, Kitsuchi and other Stone Village shinobi used their earth release to trap the Ten Tails. As the tailed beast was about to ignite a tailed beast bomb, Kitsuchi used an earth release technique to make the beast lose its balance and send the attack off course. His ability to use earth style to counter the tailed beast is honestly quite impressive for someone that we've seen so little in the show. Later, when Shikamaru asked for help, Kitsuchi agreed to teach the alliance the hand seals for basic earth defenses. This quick thinking and ability to teach others is responsible for saving thousands of shinobi's lives. Kitsuchi was a great leader, had great combat skills, and was one of the reasons for the allied shinobi's success. He was honestly indispensable in the war and was one of the reasons why so many people actually ended up surviving. Considering we're introduced to his character so late in the story, I think he's well deserving to be on this list. Next on the list is Torine, a ninja from the Hidden Leaf Village's Aburame clan and a top member of the now disbanded Anbu group called Root. Danzo stated that Torine was one of the 2 best ninjas in Root, and he was a bodyguard for Danzo in the Kage Summit. Kabuto first thought Torine was unimportant, but he quickly changed his mind after summoning him to fight in the 4th Great Ninja War. Torine was strong enough to hold his own against members of the allied shinobi forces, including Shino and Naruto in his 9-tailed chakra mode. Torine, like other Aburame clan members, was skilled at using insects in battle. His special types of bugs covered his body, and he could take off his clothes to infect anyone he touched. These bugs would then spread onto opponents' bodies, leading to victory. Torine, as an adult after the Kage Summit, was able to use these nano insects nearly perfectly. In the anime, Torine could use his insect's poison to create a deadly cloud that could kill those who breathed it in. His top ability was the Jar of Poison technique, one of the Aburame's strongest and most forbidden skills. This technique allowed him to spread his nano insects over a large area, taking out many enemies at once. He also used regular insects to make clones. Danzo picked Torine and Fu to escort him to the Kage Summit, choosing Torine as his personal guard from the Anbu out of all his operatives. On their way to the Leaf Village, Torine and Fu and Danzo were ambushed by Tobi. In this fight, Torine was able to infect Tobi's right arm and force him to cut it off. Although he's a lesser known character, it was interesting to see a different kind of Anbu member besides the well-known ones like Kakashi, Yamato, and Itachi. Even though the Anbu were often showed struggling against big name opponents, characters like Torine show that Danzu's group had some members that weren't bums. Next on the list is not Mike Guy, but his father, Might Dai, known as the Eternal Genin, who was a ninja from the Hidden Leaf Village. Throughout his career, Dai stayed a genin, which led many to look down on him and earn him the nickname Eternal Genin. Despite this, after 20 years of hard training, he mastered all 8 gates. Later in the story, Dai saved his son and his teammates Ebisu and Genma from the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Despite Guy having many doubts about his father's ability, Dai reminded him that he still had the 8 gates technique, which he used to protect what he was most important to him. In the anime, Dai's actions led to the deaths of 4 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen. I mean, this feat of strength is absolutely ridiculous, considering one guy just took out 4 legit Jonin. Even though he held the rank of Genin, Dai trained hard to build his stamina, strength, and taijutsu skills, allowing him to open all 8 gates after 20 years of practice. Although he saw it as his only achievement, he was skilled enough to teach this powerful technique to his son and use it to fight the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. In this fight, Dai did his job, allowing Guy and his teammates to escape. This fight was so memorable, even Jozu talked about it with Itachi, showing its impact. Dai is often overshadowed by characters like Guy and Rock Lee, and is frequently forgotten. His status as the laughingstock of the Hidden Leaf, while secretly mastering one of the hardest taijutsu techniques for 2 decades, highlights how underrated and powerful he truly was. Next up on the list is Hanzo of the Salamander, a famous and powerful ninja who led the Hidden Rain Village during his life. During the Second Great Shinobi War, Hanzo fought against the Leaf's forces. Only Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru survived the battle. Hanzo honored them for their survival by giving them the title of Konoha's Sannin and letting them live if they used the title. He also fought Lady Chiyu many times, allowing her to develop an antidote for the poison from his salamander. Eventually, Hanzo lost his passion for peace, stopped improving his skills, and only cared about keeping his power. In the Fourth Great Ninja War, Hanzo faced many samurai from the Land of Iron. Most of them retreated when they saw who they were up against, except for one. Hanzo fought Mifune, defeated him, and poisoned him with a slash to the head. He ended up sparing Mifune's life because of his strength and loyalty, even giving him the antidote to the poison but not treating his injury. It really bothers me how Hanzo was handled in the story. The anime just brushed him aside to highlight Pain's power and threat level. Hanzo was a legendary and feared ninja, and I remember Kakashi being nervous about delivering a scroll because he thought Hanzo was still in charge. Seeing him go out the way he did feels unfair and doesn't do justice to his character. It's a generic anime trope and a cop-out for the writers. I do believe people know how legit Hanzo is, but considering how he was done dirty in the story and how little screen time he got, I think he deserves to be on this list. Next up on the list is Genma, an elite Jonin of the Hidden Leaf. Many people forget Genma was an elite guard to the Hokage. During his time serving under the 4th Hokage, he was taught the Flying Thunder formation technique. Being a bodyguard for the Yellow Flash, and then being taught the formation technique to Flying Raijin just goes to show Minato had trust in it. We see Genma use this technique in the 4th Great Ninja War when he transports the Mizukage. People give Genma a bad rep because of his fight against the Sound 4, but you have to keep in mind, it was stated that he was physically fatigued due to his prior mission. With the assistance of Raido, he was able to force the Sound 4 into activating the second stage of their cursed seals. If Genma was 100% in this fight would have gone much differently. Like the way he deflects a kunai with his senbone just shows how much aura he has. And before the show turned into gods and the horrible power scaling, when the show was just about ninja, we saw Genma have a legit fight against Baki in the Sand Jonin and held his own. Something crazy to think about is Genma has completed the 4th most B rank missions in the Leaf Village, being behind only the likes of the legendary Sani. This means Genma has done more B rank missions than Kakashi. To be on a list like this among Kakashi and the legendary Sannin shows how slept on this guy really is. B ranks are legit missions, and to have completed 454 successfully shows how legit he really is. Considering he isn't one of the leaders of the teams and he's not a main Jonin in the story, I think Genma is perfect to be on this list. Following up Genma is Baki, the guy I mentioned earlier who he ended up fighting. He's a Jonin from the Sand Village and a high-ranking member of its advisory council. Baki is a strong Jonin and a key figure in his village. Baki often leads the military operations. We see this in the Datara raid in part 2 of the series, and in part 1 he showed no fear in facing high-ranking Leaf Shinobi. And in these fights against Leaf Shinobi, he honestly understood their techniques and is pretty well informed. In the anime, Kabuto even mentioned wanting to bring Baki back to life if he ended up losing his fight against Hayate. In his fight against Hayate, he was able to endure a strike to his shoulder without much trouble, and Hayate pulling his sword away with one hand. Baki showed some pretty legit taijutsu techniques and ended up beating Hayate. The fight, we see is pretty skilled in wind release and is able to create a powerful blade of wind with a wave of his hand, and he claims is unblockable. He can also use this technique over and over again, which is pretty legit. During the Sands invasion of the Leaf Village, Baki fought against the skilled shinobi Genma. His ability to defeat Hayate and hold his own against Genma proves he's a strong Jonin, capable of challenging Leaf ninjas. While he may seem overshadowed foreshadowed as the series progresses with the introduction of even stronger characters, Baki was a significant threat to the Leaf Village in the original Naruto series. And behind Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro, he is a legit contender of strength in the Sand Village. The last person to make this list is Ibiki, a special Jonin from the Leaf Village. Ibiki leads the village's intelligence division and is specifically the head of the torture and interrogation force. In the anime, Ibiki also became the leader of Team 40. Ibiki is an expert in interrogation, both physically and mentally, and plays a key role in extracting information from suspects and prisoners. Ibiki is able to manipulate people's minds and control their will. His skills are so well known that even Kisame learned that Ibiki would be interrogating him. Kisame decided to kill his own team to prevent them from giving up any information. Ibiki is also easily tell when someone is lying, seen through Karin's story. In the anime, during his fight with Pain's animal path, Ibiki uses his summoning technique to bring forth Iron Maiden in a torture chamber. These devices are modeled after lucky charms typically used to bring good fortune. Some of these summons are risky because the user experiences the pain as the opponent, but this is a great ability for Ibiki, who is so well known with pain and able to tolerate it. Throughout the series, Ibiki demonstrates his interrogation skills and his intimidating presence, especially during the Chunin exams. He is a highly skilled ninja, effective in battle, and has a great summoning, and deserves more attention in the story given his role and as the head of the interrogation force. Although there are many Jonin in the Leaf Village, Ibiki's unique abilities make him stand out. And that's going to be all for the list today. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel.